We didn't lose. Oh, welcome everyone to the American Blues Podcast. Let's talk about Brentford versus Chelsea 2-2. And what a lucky 2-2. I think we probably should have lost that game. And I didn't even feel that great with the tie, to be honest. I feel like I've been saying this a lot lately. Just an awful game to watch. We had our moments, like the whole rest of the season, and we failed to capitalize, and we can't defend just again and again and again. Same issues from day one of the season, same issues 8 months in, and that's got to be down to the manager. That must be manager first, and then everybody else second. But let's go over the start of the game real quick. We started with the 3 at the back, which was a little surprising, although not too much given how Brentford play. They're very defensive. They hit us on counter. They have very tall players. They're really good on set pieces. So sure, I think a lot of Chelsea fans have been asking for a 3 at the back, and we got to see it today. And wow, was it absolute trash shit defending. So it made absolutely no difference to have another man in defense. In fact, I think our defense got worse with another man there because I think it gave them this mentality of, oh, we have another person there. They'll cover the problem. They'll cover the runner. They'll track. They'll hit the first ball, second ball. No, none of that happened. But let's start with up top, Nicholas Jackson. Today's game is just a perfect example why he is just so frustrating. Number one, he one-on-one with the goalie, rounded the goalie, did everything he could, and then he passed it to the oncoming defender who, barely had to try to knock it off the line. Like, at least put in a real shot, man. Like, you have to put in a real shot. But, that was a horrible miss. And then his first goal, fantastic. Malagusto, perfect. Absolute perfect cross. Landed right between the two defenders. They could do nothing. And Jackson actually scored a header, which he almost never does. I mean, where did that come from? That's amazing. But does it deserve him shushing the crowd? No, bro. You got to stop missing easy chances if you want to shush the crowd. And even in his post-match interview, I think he's very accurate. He's like, well, I haven't scored very much this season, and I've missed a lot, which is very true. You've missed way, way, way too much. And then after that, the rest of the first half, not much really happened. Kind of typical. We tried, had a lot of possession, pretty much made nothing of it. No real patterns of play. Caicedo left on his own again. Enzo playing way too high, not very effective. Apart from that one pass that he sent Jackson free, and Jackson just completely gave up that chance. And then we went to halftime. And again, for multiple games now, like, what is happening at halftime? What is Pochettino saying to these players? Is he being too soft on them? Is he telling them calm down? Or is he too harsh and they just lose all confidence? I have no idea. But we came out second half, not ready to play. Brentford completely changed their style, started hitting long balls, which we had absolutely no defense for. And that first goal was it was such a joke. Chelesa lost his runner, gets the ball, and then Disasi and Gusto both lose flight of this looping ball. It wasn't even a great cross. It was just a looping ball, and they both lost track of it. Caicedo came over for a real weak challenge, and then Disasi just jogged over and let the Brentford player score, who I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Reguilon, who maybe it was someone different. But yeah, what a joke. Just mistake after mistake after mistake. And every single mistake was because that person decided, nah, it's not my responsibility. It's the next person's responsibility. And then it's the next person's responsibility. And that's how we get stupid goals. And after that, do we get better? Nope. I actually think we got worse. Brentford got their goal. They got their confidence. And whenever we give a goal, we just shrink back and we start playing we have no idea how to play anymore. And then we had one really good 4-on-1 break. A 4-on-1 break. Gusto takes kind of a weird touch, loses the ball a little bit, but he still made a good cross out to Palmer. And out of everybody on the team, Palmer would have been the guy for that ball to get to. And he used his strong foot, left foot, and hit it wide of the goal. I mean, what can you say? Like I can't even blame Palmer that much because he's been clearly our best player of the season. He's had the most goals. He's had the most assists. So what can you say? But that's just a little microcosm of our entire season, which is not taking our chances. Like 4-on-1, we have to be scoring 4-on-1. Like there's no excuse not to score 4-on-1, and they couldn't do it. But I also had no confidence that Jackson or whoever else was up there with him would have scored either. That's just how the team is. Just completely inconsistent, low in confidence, and not taking easy chances. And then, of course, Brentford get an even more hilarious second goal where two players are sitting in the middle box with so much time to watch that ball fly sky high, come back down. And of course, the strike is fantastic. You can't do anything about that kind of strike. But again, why is everyone ball watching? You know, they should be sprinting to cut out that sprint to get their face into that ball, or at least make that scissor kick a little bit harder, just something like like other defenders that we've had, Cahill, Terry, Carvalho, none of them would have just stood there watching that ball loop around in the box and let two people be free in the middle of the box for that kind of shot. Unacceptable. And then after that, yeah, we came to life a little bit, but honestly, like too little too late. Like I don't care if we play better when we're already down. It's useless at that point. Like we need to play better either at 0-0 or when we're up and we need to score more goals to go ahead. But, credit to the team. They did get a last minute goal. Palmer, great cross to Sassi, lost his marker on the run, scored a good header. Sure. But does that make up for his overall performance? Absolutely not. I thought he was just shockingly bad today. Again, just so nonchalant. Like I said, I don't know what's happened to Sassi since the City game. He's either lost confidence or like his short passing's off again. His medium passing's off again. And just his effort is off again. He's not like the City game where he was making blocks like crazy. Like these players have to realize if you want to play well, you have to keep that level of near 100% all the time in a game. Otherwise, every team in the Premier League is going to punish you every single time. And I'm tired of seeing it again and again and again. And there's not much more to say about the game. Like we were lucky to even tie the game and it didn't feel great. Like it doesn't help us to tie games anymore. We are so far down the table that even winning games keeps us in the same position. If we keep losing and tying, we'll just keep moving down. And I do not want to get into a relegation battle. And this team is looking at it because we have some really hard games coming up. So they better get their shit together. Otherwise, we will be looking at very bottom of the table. But what else is there to say? I mean, we're 8 months into the season. I see almost no patterns of play. The team keeps making the same mistake again and again, being so passive in defense. Doesn't matter if we have 2 defenders, 3 defenders, 4, 5 defenders. No one really sprints to cut out crosses, which is the biggest issue because they just leave it for the guys in the middle. The guys in the middle aren't really good at keeping track of the markers. We're not very good at reading the flight of the ball to head balls away most of the time. We're not very good at getting first balls, and then we get in trouble on the second balls time and time and time again. And again, Enzo's playing so high, so far from Caicedo. Caicedo is constantly just by himself in build-up. Well, we know he easily gets one-on-one or double or triple teamed, and he just panics and makes a bad pass, and then he has to panic defend and put in a rash challenge, and that gives away a free kick. And time again, we suffer from that. But, I've liked Pochettino. I've been on the Pochettino train the whole season saying, the team's not very good. Our player's not very good. What we need is a manager who has patience, who, can put an arm around all these young players and make them play together. But I don't think he's really doing it. We keep making the same mistakes. And when the whole team keeps making the same mistakes again and again, that is 100% down to the manager and nothing else. So am I a little shocked that he's still with the team? Honestly, yeah. Am I calling for his head? Not really. But if we play like this against Newcastle, if we get embarrassed at home against Newcastle, the crowd will turn against him. And there's just no possible way back from a home crowd turning against the manager. Like we already had the away crowd today chanting for him to be sacked. It doesn't take much more for the owners and sporting directors to pull to say, hey, to hell with this project. It clearly isn't working. It's getting too toxic. We need something better. We need some change. But really, like if they're going to do a review of the season, they cannot just review Pochettino or the players. They have to review the sporting directors to put us in this horrendous position of only having mostly mediocre to bad young players, and they put all their cards on them. And to have spent nearly $1 billion and to have so many holes in the team to play an entire season without a real striker, it's just, I mean, what manager can succeed with this? I really can't. Like, do I think a manager change might help? Sure, but it'll just be the new manager bounce. And once they come in and realize, holy shit, this team is not a team. Like, we have players that don't play well together. We have positions that don't make sense for these players. And we are so stacked, for example, on right wing. And for some reason, we have almost no backup in midfield and we have almost no strikers. Like, how can you spend this much money and have several key positions in the team so desperately unfulfilled? It's shocking. Like, it's shocking at a fundamental sporting level. Like, how can these sporting directors who have had experience before at Brighton and at Red Bull, how can they not understand how to build a simple team? It's just, who knows? Maybe miracles will happen. Maybe we'll somehow play against Newcastle. But then what? We just have another game where we do well, and then we have this roller coaster where we do semi well, and then we tank for a few games, and we do semi well. That's gonna get us absolutely nowhere. It's essentially just survival mode until the summer, and they better have a better plan for the summer. My God, if we continue down this path of doing the same shit, we will never get better from our absolute joke of a position in the league right now. So good on the team for attempting a comeback, although getting a tie in this game is near useless. So at least we avoided the absolute disaster of a loss. But honestly, 1 point does us very little at this point. Yeah, not much else to say. What a sad, disappointing performance. And hopefully we do a little bit better against Newcastle. Peace.